Tom here, FlipAnythingUSA. Hey, going to talk a little bit about the myth of nothing down. It does happen. I've had it happen a little bit, but a lot of people think, I think they have the wrong impression. Catch third party, not going to happen. But there is a way for those things to happen as well. I've seen some crazy things. I was reading stuff in the 80s, I was buying courses and stuff back then, and it was just implausible, some of the things they were suggesting, that you're going to talk somebody into this sort of thing. And I'm not saying it's impossible. Obviously, you can, but as far as hitting up a stranger or a deal that's out there for everybody to see, it's just kind of silly to even bother. You're gonna squander a good deal trying to get away with nothing down, where if you just scrape together $500, put down a deposit, and because I always say, test sincerity with the wallet, and that's what I do. And believe me, I've had big companies want to buy huge acreage properties from me, and they're just as full of shit as some of the guys that just really are irritating that are in the business of real estate. The developers will play on their their clout and that sort of thing. And I'm talking some big name companies that most of you have heard of. But man, I don't put up with any of that bullshit. I've had them. They try to, we're going to spend all this money on engineering and this and that, and they want you to sit on it. I say, forget it. I say, look, man, you have the money, great. If you don't, that's okay too. So I'll find somebody that does. I said, talk is cheap, and like they say, money talks, bullshit walks. And never been shy about expressing that to anybody that starts to try to play games, trying to buy property from me. Now, and even as me, when I'm buying property, even if I've been thin on money, or when I started with not much, I always knew enough to go get, go find somebody to, I could usually come up with $500 always on my own, no matter what. And that's what I would do. But I would tie up a property that I know is worth more. And that's what I always emphasize to you guys is, as long as you know values, you're not going to hesitate to risk $500 to tie up a property for 60 days so you can go find the money to close the deal. And really, that's the real that's the real nothing down. Or you can say is maybe you borrow the 500, if you want to call that nothing down. I mean, I've had 100% finance deals, but there's no money down for me. I borrowed it all, but it's still my money. I'm still responsible for it. And but the idea, I just don't want you to get yourself in a mindset that there's this underground real estate that you're going to be buying for nothing down, and it's just not practical. But it is practical if you're talking about finding exceptionally good deals when you can get something 30% or more off. What it's worth, what the true value is, and I'm not talking about fixer-uppers and that sort of thing. I know everybody likes the idea of fixer-uppers and that sort of thing, and I've done bunches of them, and you've seen me do quite a few already. I don't love fixer-uppers. This last property I bought, the 11-day deal, man, it was wonderful to buy that property, and within a couple days of that deal, closing that deal, I was talking to one of my other tenants that rents commercial space from me, and they mentioned that they needed a home. They wanted to get a home in this area. I said, man, I got one right now. And I handed them the keys. And I said, move in Monday. And that's what they did. And I didn't do a thing. They told me later that there was a little bit of leak, a little bit of water coming out from under a toilet. And I sent the plumbers over there, and I spent $300 and replaced the wax seal. And there's a brass ring in there that supports the bolts for the tie down. A lot of times those don't get installed properly, even from back in the 70s. They don't quite do them like they should. They're supposed to, just say FYI, just so you know, there's a ring in there that they tie into a brass sleeve that goes down, that they solder in. Well, a lot of the plumbers are pretty lazy, even back in the 70s, 50s, whatever. And they don't bolt, they're supposed to bolt that ring down to support it. Well, they don't. And then after years, people sitting on the toilet, it starts to rock, it fractures the lead sleeve, and the thing ends up falling apart, or somebody has to redo it later on. Which is funny because, I've done a lot of remodeling, and I've opened up walls and pulled out, like loads of beer cans, and had some of the worst frame jobs ever, because they don't build it like they used to. And I will say this, they used to have a lot better lumber. When you start tearing into houses, you'll see everything was made with really good Douglas fir, back in the day. And now everything is just this crappy pine that you can, almost stick your finger, pinch it, and put a dent in it. But I'm kind of getting off topic here. But yeah. So, anyways, that's what I was going to get at today. Is just that nothing down stuff. I bought the lake house 100% finance. That's a deal we've done recently. That's why I talk about it. And I've had other deals that I've similarly where I just I sought out and found a partner and I used their money. But the idea that you're going to write a contract up and say, okay, I'm going to put nothing down and you're going to carry the rest, that's a fantasy deal. Not going to happen. Or I won't say it's, I'm just saying you're wasting your time proposing it, because it all boils down to people want to feel good about a buyer. And if you go up and you represent yourself as having zero, then you just are defeating, yourself, because you're just going to look kind of like a flake that doesn't have any money, and that doesn't make anybody feel real good about making a deal with you. You know what I mean? Unless you just got a hell of an excuse for not having any money. But anyways, that's it. I just wanted to run that. Send that out there. A lot of people ask me about nothing down deals, and and really there's my answer. That's pretty much the extent of my experience with them. Is the ones I've made are just like that, where I used other people's money. Whether it's the banks or a hard money guy or person or whatever. And but I will tell you, if you are thin on money, look at land. It's the best opportunities to make the most money. You get owner financing almost every time, and people are very flexible on deposits. They'll be happy to take sometimes 5% down, and so you can make some really incredible deals with land, and you can buy it, incredibly cheap, or at a discount rate. If you look at my big land deal, I made over $2 million on that, about like $2.6 million. And to be honest, I made that over a period of about 20 years, but the day I bought it for $205,000, it was worth $1 million then. So, and I actually rezoned it and did a few other things, but and there's rezoning too. Just so you know, rezoning is an option, and subdividing is an option, and you don't be terrified of that. It's not that big a deal. Some places are more bureaucratic than others, but you can get it done. And but anyhow, I'm going to leave it there. I'm almost to my destination. Just wanted to get something out here this morning. So FlipAnythingUSA, be sure to share and subscribe, and please like the videos. That always helps. So I appreciate that, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks.